Today, we'll be installing lower control arm skids for your Toyota 4Runner. There's actually only one tool you'll need. Not these, just this bad boy. Just kidding, you just need these. Not this, we don't need that. First is a 7/32 Allen, a 4/32 Allen head, 7/16" wrench, 9/16" wrench, a ratchet, 12mm socket. To make this a little bit easier, you can also use socket style Allens. You'll need a drill with a 25/64 drill bit to drill out the 2 holes in the lower control arms you need to drill out. Impact to make the install of the Rivnut a lot easier. You don't have to use an impact. You can use the regular ratchet, and you'll also be using our Rivnut tool that we provided in the kit for you. Also, don't forget your safety glasses for when you're drilling out those holes underneath the vehicle. You don't want to get chips in your eyes. What comes in the hardware bag is 4 3/8 countersink bolts, 2 that are 3.5 inch, 2 that are 4 inch, and with those will be 4 3/8 nuts and 4 washers. We have 2 thick washers and 2 normal washers. We also have 2 Rivnuts that you'll install after you drill out the lower control arms, and then 2 countersink bolts for that lower control arm skid. We also include a Rivnut tool to make installing these Rivnuts a lot easier. Now you know what tools you need and you have the hardware. Let's get these bad boys installed. First, we're going to use our ratchet and 12mm socket to remove the factory skid plate. We're going to remove the 4 bolts holding on the front skid plate. Now that we got a factory skid plate off, we're going to drill out the 2 small holes we need to drill out with our 25/64 drill bit and drill to insert our Rivnuts. We'll be drilling out these small holes on your lower control arm. There'll be a hole there already, we just need to drill it out. Now that we've drilled out the holes in the lower control arm, we'll install the Rivnuts. A lot of guys know how to install Rivnuts. If you do, you install them here. If you don't, I'm about to show you how to do it and do it the correct way. Installing the Rivnuts, you'll use the tool we sent you and a 7/16 socket. You can use a normal ratchet or an impact driver to make it a lot easier. Take our tool with the 1/4 grade 8, thread on the Rivnut, stick it in the hole, and start ratcheting. You'll feel the Rivnut starts to tighten up. What it's doing is crushing down, and the knurl on that is crushing and holding in that hole to allow you to bolt in a countersink bolt. You want to tighten it up till you can't tighten it anymore, and then you'll loosen it up and it'll stay in, and now you have a threaded hole where you drilled it out. Now that we've got the 2 Rivnuts in, we'll start the skid installation. You'll take your driver's side skid and your 1/4 countersink and start threading it in to the Rivnut you just installed. The 4/32 Allen. You can lightly tighten that bolt down, but you want to leave it a little bit loose so you can move your skid around to get the other bolts in and lined up. To finish bolting up your lower control arm skid, you'll take your 2 countersink bolts, one's 3.5 inch, one's 4 inch. The short one goes in the front, the long one goes in the rear. You also have your 2 washers. You have a large washer and a small washer. The large washer goes in the front of the vehicle. The small washer goes in the rear of the vehicle. You also have your 2 3/8 nuts. You'll use those to tighten down your countersink bolts. We have the longer bolts to go all the way through the lower control arm to the top so you can fully secure the skid to the lower control arm. Now that we got everything lightly tightened up, we'll go through and fully tighten everything on the skid. Now that you've installed the driver's side, you repeat the following steps on the passenger side. Now that you got them both installed, it's time to put back on your skid plates. If you're reusing the factory one, you will have to trim along here to clear our skids. This one is pre-trimmed. You'll see a picture that shows what it looks like pre-trimmed with markings on where you need to trim. For your best bet, you'll want to hold it up and mark where you need to trim out your factory skid. The easiest way to trim this would either be using a Sawzall or a grinder. You can see where you need to trim and cut here. You start up at this bend line here and trim down and around. And it clears our skids perfectly. If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. Like now, right now, right here. This one.